Hey, what's up guys? So today we're gonna go through something quite exciting. We're gonna just take an existing project in our repository and we're gonna modify it to make some pretty cool modifications. So what I have in mind is really taking this Path Pioneer project. The Path Pioneer project allows you to create a personalized path and then just go through it again. And this happens very quickly. You just like go one pass and then that becomes the path, and then you can just re-go through the same spline that you created. Why this is very cool? Because it makes it very easy to create experiences that other people can just go through. And it's really personalized very quickly to every sort of space. So I think that this project has a lot of potential, even if you might see that the use case as in the sample is really just almost like a little bit of a walk in one direction, but you will see what I mean now. Also, we will use agentic workflow called Spline. This is a little bit like Cursor, but seems like a little bit more powerful in terms of like providing access to your project and all of your files. And we will really just ask questions and see the code forming in front of us and see if this works. I've been trying this a while and it worked very well. So I'm gonna start from scratch for you and demonstrate that this can work very easily. And I hope it works at the first shot. That would be pretty cool. So the first thing we're going to do is just taking a look, of course, at what we did already, because that's what I'm going to try to do again from scratch. When we're going to see it on the floor, and then maximum object 10, meaning that what I've said before to client was like, I want to have maximum 10 objects. But then, of course, if these are the prefabs, you might see some of them, they are repeated. So let's see what's happening here. Let's just reset, see what is opening. Input camera was not provided. We also get that. Let's take a look. We need the camera object in here. All right, we're finally ready to test this. We're gonna delete all of this and then we're gonna do it again, so no worries. So when you want to make a path, so it says make a loop. It explains you a little bit how this works, and then you start a new path. You look down, and I will do also this on the device. And this is the starting point. So the starting point, we're gonna just like go ahead. We're gonna just do a straight path for the sake of understanding how this works. Then we stopped, and it says, of course, I noticed that your velocity went to 0. So let's just click OK, and then we are ready to place the finish in front of us. So now we have a full path here, right? And just because we have our object placer, look what happened here. So for 10 times, our objects have been placed there. And this all automatically, right? So imagine what you can do with this. And now I finish. So I end the session, and you can do a new path again, and you can change the way your path works, and this really happens again. So just imagine, right, how many paths you can do in every different environment, and then it's just gonna reinstantiate things on it. This is a very nice utility. It's very simple in a way, but it's very flexible, which is allow you to do a lot of things. So now let's reset the scene and let's go through what I did to arrive here and how quick it was. So we're gonna reset all of my changes. So we're gonna do git reset hard. All right, so we reset everything and we restarted. We don't have anything here, so everything that I just showed you is not part of this project. Now, we're gonna go in Visual Studio Code and make sure that we open the project. And we also wanna make sure that we installed Spline. Of course, Spline is an extension of Visual Studio. You can find it here. I just installed it. It's called Pinebot. And we go back in here, and you will see that after you install it, you will see that you have ChatGPT interface, and it was going to ask you if you can approve some changes. So I actually gave full access to everything, which is pretty dangerous. So wouldn't do that every time, but since this is just a sample and just a test, there's nothing really to lose, and I just want to try. So let's start to prompt something in the correct way. So we see that it's also using under the hood Claude. We see, hey, I want to modify my project. So we have a solid prompt, pretty long. Let's see what's happening here. So notice that I'm on the act mode. Plan mode is planning, and they have this act mode that directly just modify everything for you. So let's see from here, where do we go? I gave it all of the auto approve, so it's also nice that gives you actually how many credits you're spending every time. It's gonna probably turn right at the very end of all of this. And there are no errors, which is a great sign. And it says the script will automatically detect when a path is created and place the object along. If you create a new path, the previous object will be cleared, then you will be placed. So we have it all. We approved it automatically. We are gonna go in our script folder, and we have our new PathObjectPlacer. This PathObjectPlacer is here and requires this time the path maker. Max object is 10. Before actually gave me a lot of parameters to play with. This time it doesn't, but let's see what's going on. It gives me the object to place, so let's go in the asset library and let's go in 3D. I'm gonna download some stuff, I'm gonna import this asset, and I'm gonna import this asset. So I imported my 3 assets. Let's add them as value. So let's see if we can add them directly from there. So interesting enough, I cannot add it as a prefab because probably it was as a scene object. So we probably want to go back and iterate a little bit more about this. Let's go back in Client and say this works, but I want in the utility the ability to reference prefabs. Let's also try randomized rotation just to really, we want to do this thing very well. So we try them all, right? We have the start there, and then we stop it. Remember that I'm gonna try this also on the device. Let's see if scaling makes a little more sense. So not really still sense, but they are at least in the right orientation. So I guess the random scale, it's just too much. So let's try to put something between 0.8 and 0.1, actually 0.5, and see if that's a problem. I'm also gonna put this one here. I don't know if that's determining, but let's see. New path. I like to show this live stuff because no fake demos. All right, finally we have something decent here. So I would say probably the error was mine, not Klein. Was just you can see that this is something between 0.1 to 0.5. So you can play with these things. But just to show you that this is a very simple way to, this took around maybe 10 minutes. And you can see that you have a big really result for very little effort. I literally entered 2 or 3 prompts and iterated with that. This is really the new way to do things, by the way, and it's gonna just get more infrastructure from here in terms of interacting with editors like this one. So we did it, agentic workflow for modifying one of the sample. Very cool sample, by the way. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna build this on device and you're gonna see how cool it is. Just imagine that you remove some of the art style if you're not a fan of it, or you want to make your style, right? And you just start to instantiate object that you want to have there, maybe for a game or maybe presentation for a museum, like a virtual museum or virtual tours, right? Just imagine that you can have the same path and you don't even need to save the path, more or less, when are the corners, when are the distances, and you're just going to instantiate things like that. And then if you want something more precise, probably you want to try something like custom locations, which is another template that we will go through. But then I'm going to see this on the device and give it a try.